This small, unassuming, scruffy little dog once ran for miles daily across the hills between England and Scotland, keeping pace with horses, hounds, and hunters. Today, most Border Terriers are curled up on sofas, stealing socks, or following their owners from room to room. So, how did we get from hardened fox hunter to affectionate family companion? To understand that, we have to go back to where it all began. The Border Terrier was developed in the rugged countryside between Northumberland and the Scottish borders. This wasn't gentle farmland. It was cold, exposed, rocky terrain with relentless wind and rain sweeping across the Cheviot Hills. Farmers in this region faced a serious and constant reality: foxes preying on sheep and lambs. Controlling fox populations wasn't sport in the early days. It was survival. Large foxhounds could track and chase across open ground. But when a fox bolted underground into narrow earths and rocky dens, something smaller was needed. That's where the early Border Terrier came in. This dog had to be small enough to enter tight spaces, go underground and still be able to turn around, but long-legged enough to keep up with hounds over miles of countryside. It had to be tough enough to withstand brutal weather and brave enough to flush or face a fox underground, often alone. Unlike many modern breeds, the Border Terrier wasn't created by kennel clubs or carefully recorded breeding programs. It was shaped by working farmers who bred only the dogs that could do the job. If a dog could hunt, endure the terrain, and handle itself underground, it was bred again. If it couldn't, it wasn't. Function came first, always. Although exact records don't exist, historians widely believe the Border Terrier developed from a mix of local working terriers, including the Dandy Dinmont Terrier, the Bedlington Terrier, and the Lakeland Terrier. From the Dandy likely came grit and strong underground working ability. The Bedlington probably contributed speed and agility along with endurance over rough terrain. And the Lakeland brought hardy temperament and a practical, weather-resistant coat suited to life in harsh northern climates. These early terriers weren't bred for appearance. They weren't selected for perfect markings or show-ring posture. They were bred to solve a problem. Over time, that ruthless practicality produced a dog with very specific traits. A narrow, flexible body that could be spanned by two hands, longer legs than many other terriers so they could run with hounds, and a dense, harsh double coat that shed water and protected against cold. Their double coat has to be hand-stripped due to its unique function, but perfect for the drizzly British weather throughout the year. But perhaps more important than physical structure was their mindset. Early Border Terriers had intense prey drive and enormous stamina for their size. Once underground, they had to work independently. No handler could see what was happening beneath the earth. The dog had to rely on instinct, courage, and determination. Quitting wasn't an option. The only help they received once underground was being bred with a short but thick tail to be pulled out if required. Originally, these dogs weren't even called Border Terriers. They were known locally as Coquetdale Terriers or Reddersdale Terriers, named after the valleys where they worked. It wasn't until 1920 that the breed was officially recognized by the Kennel Club in the UK and then by the American Kennel Club in 1930. With official recognition came breed standards. And with breed standards came a shift in priorities. When a breed enters the show ring, appearance inevitably becomes more important. Consistency of coat, head shape, and overall look starts to matter alongside working ability. Around the same time, rural life was changing. Fox hunting began to decline in many areas. Farming practices evolved, and more people moved into towns and cities. Fewer families needed a relentless fox control terrier, but many wanted a small, affectionate dog with personality. The Border Terrier's naturally more easygoing temperament compared to some other terriers made it well suited to this transition. Breeders increasingly selected for stable, family-friendly behavior. Over generations, this began to soften the extreme edges of the breed's working drive, which you may see still in other breeds like Jack Russells and Patterdale Terriers. So, has the drive been bred out of the modern Border Terrier? In many cases, yes, at least partially. Compared to their 19th century ancestors, most modern pet-bred boarders are less sharp, less reactive, and less relentlessly prey-focused. Selective breeding for companionship naturally reduces the intensity required for underground foxwork, meaning they are more easily kept with other types of animals in the house. That doesn't mean the instinct has disappeared. Far from it. Many Border Terriers still show strong chase drive, a love of digging, and a powerful interest in scent. They often excel in agility, scent work, and earth dog trials. The foundation is still there. But the average Border Terrier living as a household pet today is not quite the same hardened working dog that once ran across the border hills. They still maintain their sociable, forward personality, who should generally enjoy the company of other dogs, like their history suggests. On walks, they love nothing more than running through the undergrowth, being out of sight for minutes at a time as they chase a new scent. In some rural parts of the UK, true working lines still exist. These dogs are bred with function in mind, and often retain higher prey drive and stronger working instincts. However, they represent a small portion of the overall population. That's why today, the Border Terrier is one of the most popular small terriers in the UK. Much more favoured over its relative, the Bedlington Terrier. They're known for being affectionate, adaptable, and generally good with children. They fit comfortably into active family homes and can adapt to both countryside and town living, provided they get enough exercise and mental stimulation. Because here's the important thing. Even though much of the extreme working intensity has been dialed down, the Border Terrier is still a dog shaped by generations of purposeful breeding. Under that scruffy coat is a body designed for endurance. Behind those dark, keen eyes is a mind built to problem solve and pursue. If their needs aren't met, they'll create their own entertainment, whether that's digging up the garden, chasing small animals, or redecorating your home with whatever they can carry in their mouths. The modern Border Terrier is a fascinating balance between past and present. It retains the structure and much of the temperament of its working ancestors, but adapted to fit modern life. The fire hasn't been extinguished. It's simply been turned down from a blazing furnace to something more manageable for everyday households. In many ways, the Border Terrier tells the story of how dogs evolve alongside us. Farmers once needed a tough, fearless fox hunter. Modern families need companionship, loyalty, and adaptability. The breed shifted to meet those changing demands. And that leaves an interesting question. Would you prefer the original relentless working Border Terrier of the 1800s, racing across the hills and disappearing underground without hesitation? Or the softer, affectionate companion that shares our homes today? Maybe the real success of the Border Terrier isn't that it changed, but that it managed to adapt without losing its identity entirely. Even now, beneath the calm exterior, you can still glimpse the bold, brave little hunter that once ruled the border country. It epitomizes a smaller dog in a large dog's body, being extremely secure in themselves and taking everything in their stride. If interested, comment what breed you'd like me to cover next, and make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.